Hello, all you Lightroom geeks. This is Jan Armour, another Lightroom geek himself. We're talking about faces today, but not baby faces. We're talking about interfaces. We're talking about interfaces in the library grid, and in the develop module, and in the slideshow, and the print, and the web modules. This is what you see when you import pictures into the Lightroom library. You see a grid and you see some panels, and at the bottom you'll see a film strip. This is the standard setup in Lightroom, and it's the setup that you will see in the develop module. You will see the same setup in the slideshow, the print, and the web. The setup being a center stage with either thumbnails or single pictures, and panels on either side, as I say, and a film strip, as well as a filter bar at the top and a toolbar at the bottom. A little bit more about that in just a second. But the first thing I want to tell you is this is how Lightroom presents itself to you on your computer screen. If you hit the F key, it'll change slightly. Did you notice that the pull down menus at the top disappeared? If you click the F key again, it becomes a floating Lightroom on your desktop. And if you click Lightroom again, you get this view. I like to use this view or this view. If you use this view and you need a pull down, you just force your mouse up and the pull down pulls down. But I sometimes will go to this if there's something I want to see on my desktop. But usually I'm in this view. So that's F, F, F. It's a three-way toggle switch. Toggles three different looks. The panels module over here and the panels over here can be changed. First of all, you can use the Shift and Tab key together, and I recommend that you remember this so that you get to see full screen. You get the panels to disappear. If you're looking at one picture like that and you do Shift and Tab, you get all the prime real estate on your screen. And that's really what it's all about, using the real estate on the screen to your advantage. That's Shift Tab. Now, you also can fool around with one panel or the other by clicking the little triangle here. See the little triangle? You can make the panel appear or disappear. You can do the same thing with this one. You can do the same thing at the bottom. And you can do the same thing to these words across here at the top. See how they disappear? I rarely will bother with that. But what I do like to do is I like to put these panels in manual mode. And you do that by right-clicking. You can see that I already have it in manual mode. They have this auto hide and show feature, which is obnoxious, and I would advise you not to use it. The way it works is when you move your mouse here, the panel appears. When you move it out, it disappears. To me, it's a nuisance. So I'm going to keep it on manual. You notice too, you can also synchronize opposite panels. So what you do with the left panel will do the same thing with the right panel. If the one disappears, the other will disappear. I rarely use that, but I just like to leave it in manual mode like that. And remember, Shift Tab just gets rid of them all. So all you have to do is remember Shift Tab and you don't have to worry about anything else. The next thing to remember is lights out. Now you can dim the lights by hitting the L key, and you can still see this dimly. You can see what else is on the screen. Or you can hit the L key again and lights go out. And that's again a three-way switch like the FFF switch. And again, it's just to help you look at the pictures better. When you're cropping pictures, this is a great way to crop the pictures with the lights out. So LLL is a good one to remember. If you're in the grid view, you can use the JJJ key to change the way these cells appear. I rarely use it. I almost always leave them just like they are. I basically like to see some information on the on and around the cell. So that's something else to keep in mind. Now let's talk about the top and bottom one. This is called the filter bar, and this filters the way your pictures look. And we'll talk about how that happens later. But right now I just want you to know how to make it appear and disappear. And that's with the / key, which is over the return key or the enter key on your computer. If you hit that, it just makes the filter bar appear and disappear. And that only, the filtration only applies to the grid, the library grid, when you're in the library. It doesn't apply any other time. If you wanted to get rid of this toolbar down here, you hit the T for toolbar. This is an off-on switch, off-on, just like the filter bar is. So the toolbar is an off-on switch. Remember the G is for grid, and if you hit G, you'll get the grid. That's G. If you would like to change to single picture, you select the picture first, and you can come down to what's called loop view. You have grid view. Watch what happens. You get a little block that tells you what that says. That says grid view, and then there's a parentheses G. If you go to this one, it's loop view, parentheses E. I just use the space bar instead. So if you hit the space bar is also a three-way sort of switch. Watch what happens when I hit the space bar from the grid. You get a single picture. Now if I click it again, I'm going to get a one-to-one view, so I can check the focus in that eye. Wow. If I click it again, it goes back. And if I hit G, it goes back to the grid. So remember that. And the last one I want to show you that is very useful is if you wanted to compare 2 or 3 pictures. Now right here is the compare view, which I never ever use. And I would recommend that you get in the habit of just remembering N for survey view. Means you survey more than one picture at a time, like this. Let's survey 2 pictures. I'm going to hit the N key. Okay. And if I wanted to see them bigger, how would I do it? Shift tab. Like so. I'm going to hit the G key to go back to the grid. And I'm going to select 3. I want to see which 3 are good. I hit N for survey mode. And if I want to see them bigger, Shift tab. You know, you're beginning to see, I hope, that this interface is extremely useful. G to go back to the grid, Shift tab to bring the panels all back. So, as I say, you can change these, the look of this interface in many ways. I very often will find the pictures over here, and then I will shut this one off like this. So then when I select one by hitting the space bar, I have all this real estate, and then I might want to do some things with the picture over here. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. So let's go back to the grid, and I want to discuss one more thing with you. There's several subpanels within each panel. So on the right panel there's a histogram, there's quick develop, there's keywording, there's keyword list, there's also metadata. Now you can leave them all, or you can just keep the ones available that you use all the time. Like I don't use the keyword list that much, so I might right click over here and I might uncheck the keyword list so that goes away. Furthermore, I would like to have, when I open the quick develop module, I'd like to have the metadata module go away so that we only see one module at a time. And the way you do that is you put them on solo. It's called solo. And the way you do that is you select solo mode, which is already selected, here. So that means that when I have one of these subpanels open and I click another, the first one disappears. To give you more real estate. That's the whole idea. It gives you more real estate. See how that works? I use that all the time, and you can put each side into solo mode. This is already in solo mode, and this right-clicking, this is already in solo mode. So remember that you can do that. I will just, a little side note, that if you have the navigator open and you have the histogram open, that the solo mode does not apply to those. These two are persistent. They stay on all the time. So when you open the Quick Develop module and you want to see the metadata, it'll close the Quick Develop module like so. Isn't that slick? This interface, I have to tell you, is really slick. Bye for now.